A Cup of Tea by Catherine Mansfield. The story is set in 1920s London. Rosemary Fell, the protagonist, is a wealthy young matron. So, do you remember, Rosemary Fell is the protagonist and it is set in 1920s London. We meet her while she is on a shopping trip in town. So, in the beginning, when we meet her in the story, she is on a shopping trip in town. In an antique shop, she examines an expensive jewelry box that she would love to own. Yet, after inquiring about the price, she decides against the purchase, at least for that day. So she always tries to gather some antique pieces. She is a materialistic lady. She was looking for that expensive jewelry box and it looked really magnificent. She wanted to buy it, but after inquiring about the price, she decides against the purchase as it was too much, at least for that day. Without the longed-for purchase, Rosemary returns to the street, where she is approached by a poor, raggedy-looking young woman about her own age. So when she came out of the shop, she meets a lady of almost of the same age who approached her. The young woman asks for the price of a cup of tea and says she has no money, which Rosemary finds unimaginable. Now, see, this lady who came to Rosemary asking for money for a cup of tea. Rosemary can't even think that the person doesn't have money for a cup of tea. See, here is the class consciousness that I was talking about. That in the themes, I told that there is class consciousness. One is very poor and the other is very rich. And the rich cannot understand the poor. It always happens in our society. Rosemary can't even imagine that the person doesn't have money for a cup of tea. While there are many people who are dying of hunger, Rosemary has not seen that side of the society. She has always enjoyed her own life. Suddenly, inspired by the tales of Dostoevsky that she has recently read, Dostoevsky, another writer, Rosemary experiences a charitable inspiration and takes the girl home. Rosemary takes the girl home. Why? Because she wants to do some charity. Of course, the reader questions the true sincerity of Rosemary's impulse. So, one might think that no, Rosemary is actually a very good lady. It is very kind of her that she has taken the girl home. But why she has done that? She has done that for charity. And this charity she has learned somewhere. We all believe in helping the less fortunate. Of course we do, right? However, this wealthy young woman seems more taken with her own fantasy of philanthropy than any real desire to help. At any rate, the young Miss Smith does go home with Rosemary and is given an abundant tea with all the trimmings. So Rosemary has taken this lady to her home and her name is Miss Smith and served tea to her. While they are having tea, Mr. Fail means Rosemary's husband, Philip Fail, comes into the bedroom and finds this unexpected guest. So he saw that in their bedroom there is a guest and was not at all expected. He takes Rosemary into another room where he first expresses disapproval of what his wife has done and then speaks appreciatively about their poor visitor's beauty. Now see, this person, Philip Philly was very rich person. Rosemary and Philip, they were very rich and Philip do not like this kind of people. He does not like. So when he sees a guest, very poor lady has come as their guest, he did not like it. He takes Rosemary into another room and talks to her that who is this lady? Why did you bring her here? No, I do not like this. But he thought of making a trick. What he does, he tried to describe the beauty of Miss Mead to Rosemary, because if Rosemary is Philip's wife, Rosemary would not like to listen any other girl's beauty from her husband's mouth. So she was not happy to listen this. Once back with her charitable case, Rosemary now feels odd and without direction. What should she do? She was not happy because her husband was praising that girl. Ultimately, she gives Miss Smith some cash and sends her on her way. So she sent away Miss Smith by giving her some cash. Anxious about her own appearance. Now she became very conscious about her own appearance because her husband has praised some other lady. Rosemary takes great care in dressing for dinner and seeks reassurance of her charms from Philip. So she wanted Philip to praise her, and for that she dressed herself in a better way. She made her appearance look very beautiful so that Philip praises her and not another lady. Actually, Philip praised that lady because he knew that if he does that, then Rosemary will send that lady away from the house. It was his trick in real.